say the least. You're not watching the political segment on the weekend show. So yesterday I had to sit down on an exclusive with the Senate Committee Chairman on Publicity and Media. He is also Senate Committee Chairman on Youth and Sport Development. We had conversations around sports, youth, about the politics of Nigeria, the legislature, and so many more. Enjoy this interview. Welcome back. You're still watching the weekend show, and this is the political segment. Every year, Nigeria has a budget, Nigeria has laws, and Nigeria has different arms of government with different functions. The people who have those positions have a huge responsibility to the nation and also to their constituents. Today, we have with us someone who has served as a chief of staff to the state governor, has also been a member of the House of Reps, and now a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He is the Senate Committee Chairman on Youth and Sports Development and Media and Publicity. It's my pleasure to introduce Senator Yemi Adaramodu. Good morning and compliments of the season.
Yes, good morning, my dear brother, friend, and colleague.
Yes.
And then I say good morning to Nigeria and to all Nigerians, and especially my constituent from Ekiti South, Central District of Ekiti State.
Thank you very much. It's quite interesting seeing your own progression, and it's good that you say your colleague, but you've gone from a system where you were chief of staff in the executive arm, then the House of Reps, and then the Senate. What has that journey been like for you?
Oh yes, like some people say that they have seen it all.
Yes.
I've not seen it all, but I've seen it to a very good extent. I was even a local government chairman. By that time, I was just 39 years of age, just a few years after my graduation from the university. And after my service, that is NYC, that I became local government chairman in the southwest local government of my state in Ekiti then, before I went back to journalism, and then I rose to corporate affairs manager in the Tribune. That is African Newspapers of Nigeria PLC, the publishers of Tribune titles in Nevada. And before I became chief of staff to Dr. Yemi as governor of Ekiti State. And transcending from there, I became House of Representative member. And then another divine upliftment and benevolence. So getting to the Senate as I am here today, and the spokesperson for the 10th Senate of the 10th National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And yes, that is, it has been like that. And then I can say that I've traversed the 3 tiers of government, that is the local, the state, and the federal. And then the two of those arms, that is the legislature and the executive. It's only the judiciary that I've never been to. I've never been a judge, and I've never been a policeman or a law or any law enforcement agency experience. But so far it has been very good, and then it has opened me up to a lot of knowledge about Nigeria and Nigerians. And again, it has given me the impetus to know that yes, the only thing that you can render to your nation is service. And what do I mean by service is that being accessible, being the voice of the voiceless, delivering dividends of democracy to our people, making sure that you are accountable to them, making sure that you let them know that they have never made a mistake in pushing you for a representative, and then making sure that politics is not for the sake of it, that it is not supposed to be a personal thing, that it is not supposed to be a selfish thing, that it is supposed to be used to the extent of the good of the larger percentage of the populace, especially those people that you represent, even people that you don't represent. Make yourself an apostle of development, an apostle of right and positive thinking. And I believe that the only legacy that anybody can hold on to and even leave behind himself while alive, while not alive, is good deed. And what are these good deeds? When you are supposed to be a legislator, legislate very well, represent the people very well. When you are in the executive very well, execute projects and programs that are going to impact meaningfully and positively on the lives of those people that have or impose that kind of confidence in you. And then bear it in mind that when and wherever you are, is that you are bearing the mandate of a group of people. And then it means that all what belongs to them is now within your purview to dispense with. And then how you dispense with this, that is where we talk about leadership, that is where we talk about service. And I think when you get to my senatorial district, where I represent today as a senator, you can ask from my consultants whether I have delivered, even in my short stay in the Senate and then my 4-year stay in the House of Representatives, even when I was chief of staff to my governor in Ekiti State, even while I was a youngster as a chairman of local government. So, because I know that if I have not delivered, if I have not done well, you know, Ekiti people will tell you that you have not done well. If you have done well, Ekiti people will tell you have done well. So there's no way I could have been having that opportunities to call me to represent them in various sectors of governance in Nigeria if I have not done well. And I know I've partially and partly for now, I'm very fulfilled that I've done well for them. And then my people can attest to that.
On the light note, it said that Ekiti has the highest number of professors and PhD holders
Oh yes,
in Nigeria.
yes, that is why it is, because yes, we are very critical, we are very cautious, and we dominate our environment intelligently and intelligently. And so when you have a society of very critical, analytical, progressive minds like Ekiti, where there's no home, no household, and we are not going to have a PhD holder. So definitely, it means that whoever they will push forward to represent them must be somebody who has already gone through the crucibles of communal scrutiny that can make them to have a belief in that person. And then, even when they send you ahead to go and represent them, I don't behave well, you are not likely to have another chance. They don't just give second chance like that in Ekiti. So definitely for me, to be a local government chairman, be a chief of staff, be in the House of Representatives, and now be a senator, then it means that the critically minded people of Ekiti, especially of the structure from Ekiti South Senatorial District, they really know that I am worth it, that I have done the needful to them. Meaning that I've already extended that dividend of democracy to them, I've made myself very accessible, and I have given a very qualitative representation. So, and like you said, Ekiti is an environment that is seriously filled with eggheads. So definitely any of us that is representing Ekiti at any level must be an egghead representative.
Talking about egghead, I know egghead that well, it's interesting, and for you, this is like promotion. So from one grade you go to the other, which means you most likely are doing something right. And you also mentioned legacy. This last year has been different, and that's because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as part of his legacy, has been one of the people who has said, "I'll remove fuel subsidies. I would float the naira so that we stop living on borrowed times." And so it's been a tough fleeting period for Nigerians. And I recall in Akwa Ibom last year, at an event, you said that no Nigerian deserves to live in poverty. We've seen a bit of changes. Just yesterday, we've seen that the foreign reserve has gone as high as $42 billion, which is huge improvement, and it means that we're capable of sorting ourselves out for between 9 to 13 months on different indices.
Mm-hmm.
However, the average Nigerian is still complaining about poverty. And so, yes, we're doing some bits, but the trickle down to your constituents, because at the end of the day, it's Christmas, and I'm sure your phone has been ringing off the hook. You know what you have to do to keep your constituents happy. A lot of it's around food. How are we, especially with the Senate, establishing a balance between the necessary changes and the living conditions of the people?
Oh yes, we know, and in a very not it's not an oxymoron when we say that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step, and that you cannot make omelette without breaking an egg. And when President Tinubu assumed duty just about 1.5 years ago, yes, he did said it, and we all believe in Nigeria. If, even while our other competitors in other parties, I belong to the APC, and we are campaigning, everybody agreed that fresh subsidy regime should just be stamped out from our system, because it had become a swindling pipeline where we just blow naira and dollars that are supposed to be plowed back to the development of our country. Just when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu courageously said that yes, fresh subsidy should just, and not only should just, that it was gone. That was just cast our mind back. Fresh subsidy alone, we are subsidizing with nothing less than 4.3 trillion naira fresh subsidy. And today, even the budget of security and defense is just that 4 trillion naira. We are using it to subsidize fresh subsidy, then how to subsidize the food there. And not only that, when you look at the budget of about 6 or 10 states, just of the about that amount, we are using it to subsidize a phony fuel regime that we know that this subsidy is not even subsidizing for Nigerians, it's subsidizing the pockets of a few fat cats, economic fat cats. So we all agree that we knew then it had to go. Definitely there is going to be a backlash. Backlash from those people that will lose out in that largest that have become so easy for them to pick just by the side of the road, which we call fuel subsidy. Secondly, because it's going to create a hole, that is a gap between the supply, the pricing, and then the accommodation of even our taste to it. So definitely there's going to be a kind of price revolution, which will initially be negative, but we come back to the positive. Let me just put that one aside. Then we talk about naira and dollar, and we are subsidizing dollar, which is not even our currency, to the tune of about 6 trillion. And so when we are now having about 10-11 trillion to subsidize dollar, naira, and fuel, so definitely are we going to say that like our people in the kitchen will say, or meaning that when you have a look like elephantiasis and somebody is complaining that look at your leg, it's becoming swollen every day, and you say it's not paining you, definitely something is inside. One day what is inside will burst out, and then you now feel the pain. So definitely we all know that one. We all know that there was a time in Nigeria that when there was scarcity of naira, they would go and print. There was even a time a governor was crying out then that these people are printing naira, central bank printing naira, and even as at that time, central bank was even doing political assignments. Central bank was the one giving direct loan to so-called farmers, to so-called youths in Nigeria. Central bank was the agency directly doing rice pyramid in Nigeria, which was not supposed to be their business because they are for monetary moderation. So central bank is supposed to be banker to the bankers. They are not supposed to do all those kind of familiar fiduciary and filial political activities. So they were doing that. And then the result will always be very devastating and disastrous. The result will always lead to economic instability and topsy-turvy, which we are now experiencing. And definitely, when you now want to exorcise a kind of foreign body from an independent body, then there must be pain. It means that it will go through surgery. And so when you are doing surgery, blood will come out, water will come out, then you have to reset, then you have to bandage, then you have to treat. So that is where we are. That is why we are experiencing the pains. So and then there's no way you can reform and you say there's not going to be pain. If there is a man that goes out every day and comes back home 11 p.m. every day, and you now want to reform that man and you want him to sit down at home, it's going to miss some things. Initially he will feel bored, but after some time he will acclimatize and know that it is better to stay at home rather than to go out and filter away life and time. So definitely that is where we are now in Nigeria. That's why that the National Assembly is very quick to pass either into law or into motion or to second or to support any kind of action, any kind of intention that is placed before it by the executive in order to make sure that life becomes more abundant for the ordinary citizen of Nigeria. Like we said, yes, I even believe in it that it is not very good, it is ungodly for any Nigerian to go to bed without food when he is not fasting, when it is not deliberate, when that person is not a lazy man, because they will always say there is no food for a lazy man. Then Nigerians are not lazy. No lazy man, no lazy woman, no lazy girl, no lazy boy in Nigeria. Only anybody who chooses to do so. And then, we all know that in our communities. But the majority of Nigerians are very hardworking, they are forward looking, then we believe that they should. But there's no way that all those things would have happened. The concomitants of it would be either hardship now or hardship in the future that we will not be able to get back from it again. Because if we don't do reform, then we will just head on to a failed nation. And then when there's a failed nation, where do we go from Nigeria? And we all know Nigeria had always been playing the grandfather of all the nations of Africa. So if there's problem in Nigeria, where will Nigerians go? So that is why we believe that reforms are necessary, and then there's no way that this reform will be done, and then it will not break the initial pace. Like the budget that has just been proposed. The president brought the budget and said that the inflation at 34.6 will be brought down to 15%. Let us give that one the trial, and even if it is not 15%, it means that it's going to hover around that. And then if it hovers around that one, then definitely it means that life has become more abundant for Nigerians. And then when you look at even the components, the few components of the budget, defense, and we know what we mean by defense, because much of the problems that we are having in food supply, the supply chain, even production chain, is security. So if we can stamp that one out to the BRS minimum, definitely when farmers, either subsistence farmers or commercial farmers, can go to their farms unfettered, so surely food will come. And then if there is infrastructure which ranked second to the shares of the sectoral allocations of the budget, then definitely if you have good roads, you have the farms running very well, the farmers getting to their farms unfettered, and then they can now transport those products to the towns, cities, and the rural areas. Definitely, when we have food sufficiency in Nigeria, so people will appreciate that. Yes, the reforms are.
Senator, the budget which you mentioned and a couple of things around reform, while the Nigerian government is being optimistic, there's been a couple of borrowing that the government has done, and the Senate and the National Assembly is meant to act as a watchdog. We all know the outrage and backlash as a result of the tax reform bill. But I do recall that Nigeria also got some borrowed money, some funding from the World Bank and a lot of it was tied around tax reforms. Now, what Nigerians feel is that when we do some of this borrowing and the likes, there are some stiff terms and conditions that some people believe will impoverish Nigerians. What is the Senate actually doing
Look, when
to
we
investigate and
if you
see
want to
this
look
thing?
at borrowing, you want to vis-a-vis tax reform.
Yes.
One, let us first of all take them separately before we can put them together. The borrowing. Look, I don't think there's any country in the world that doesn't borrow. It depends on what you are going to use the borrowing
The
for.
implementation, yes.
Now, if you want to borrow, even as an individual, as a person, you want to borrow and you want to go and use that money borrowed to go and lick candy, then you are in trouble. If you borrow and you want to use that money to go and visit a nightclub, you are in trouble. But if you want to borrow and now you want to go and maybe buy fairly used clothes or whatever and sell and make profit, kudos to you. So when we find out that, especially the 10th National Assembly, that the government is serious about whatever money they get either as loan or grant or even the ones that are there that they need. So when we know the way they are dealing with those funds, then we can now have that is at the back of our mind that this government, when they take any money, either from World Bank or from whichever source, that money will be utilized for what it was supposed to be utilized for. Because why we are saying this is that when you have a government that has been servicing debt with 97% of its resources, and you now have another government who has reduced that one to about 60%, then when that government that has reduced it to about 60% is now asking for facilities, are you not going to accede and concede? That is what is happening. When you now have a government that maybe budget ways and means met it at about 30 trillion and now has reduced it to the within 1 year to about 5 trillion to the extent of offsetting everything. Now if that government says they want to take a small loan, are you not going to accede? You are going to accede and we are going to concede. When you now have a government who says okay, we want to take this money because we want to do coastal road joining west to the southeast and south, and now they have started that job and we can now see practically, are we not going to accede and concede? Yes, we are going to. Now when you see a government that is now doing budget whereby the deficit percentage is now less than 4%, and then that government says oh, in order to meet up the rest and the little gap that we want to take little loans, soft loans for that matter, not outrageous, not loans of 9% or 2-digit interest rate, are we not going to accede and concede? Yes, we are going to. So those are the areas. So don't let us use the same yardstick to measure all regimes. We
But
have
your party that was in power for the last 8 years before this one.
Oh yes.
One body.
Oh yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even if our party has been there, it doesn't matter. It is like the Yoruba will say, the day that a madman knows that he's mad, that is when he's well. When the madman says, just wakes up one morning and say, so I'm mad, then it means that man has been hurt. So it is the day that we know that yes, some things have not been done when it should be done, and now we make a 360-degree rethink, and now we are now doing it the way it should be done. So that means it is the person, it is the rain that has pulled the wall down, that is pulling the wall, picking pulling the walls up. So that is the way it is.
Senator, let's talk about the Senate, and I know this is a conversation that you are very interested in. People, contractors, ministers sometimes refusing to appear before the Senate or Senate committees on invitation. We saw a former minister how she spoke to members of House of Reps when she was asked questions about her ministry. What's your own position? I know different things.
No, let me tell you something. There were 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. There was a Judas Iscariot. In Nigeria, we have many ministries, departments, and agencies. About 802 of them, divided by 12. Meaning that for every 12 out of that 802, there will be a Judas Iscariot. So when you divide that one, it means that you will be having about 80 Judas Iscariots. So meaning that there's no way you can just have a wholesale perfect system. That is one. And secondly, at times invitations might come to heads of some parastatals, maybe late. Maybe when that head of parastatal is not around in Abuja. It might cause delay at times. Secondly, some of maybe somebody who has that kind of that has the assumed personality of a stark technocrat might not even understand and know that yes, when an invitation comes, because one thing that we always find out at times is that when maybe it's on a accounting system or whatever, so some of the heads of the parastatals of the ministries might even send the person who is in charge of that finance and accounts instead of he or she himself or herself to come. So it might be that kind of misunderstanding at times. It does happen. And then the particular one that you mentioned, it's not that the minister did not come. The minister came, but when questions were asked, at times when you are not expecting that facts would have been so open to legislators, and then questions are now raised. It even happens in courts. It happens anywhere, because when you come to the National Assembly, to the committees, when you come to the committees and you are under interrogation, it's as if you are in the court, because we have that power of the courts. We can even summon you. If you don't come, we can issue warrant of arrest on you, and you will be arrested and you will be prosecuted. So definitely when you get to, it's like when you get to the court and then a lawyer asks a question that is so brisk that you are not even expecting from you, then your reaction at times might be psychologically negative. So definitely the same thing can happen at the floor of any committee meeting. So that was what happened that time. But by and large, majority of the ministries, departments, and agencies, they do respond. And then at times, those ones that might not be ready to respond at times, maybe they are third parties who are not even government people. Like say maybe if like there was a time we were looking at this Calabar Itu Road, which had been on for a very long time. The minister had come, then the directors general that are concerned, they have come. Then they were supposed to come with the contractor. So the contractor did not come with them. And then so we have to make it to the public that we are still expecting the contractor to be there when the minister and all others were there, while we are asking our questions. Why the delay? Why the abandonment? So definitely at times we do have instances like that, which we cannot, is inevitable. Which is inevitable. This is human activities. It's inevitable.
Okay, that's a positive outlook. Let's talk about something else. The 8th and 9th Assembly tried at several times to censor media. This is you and I.
Yeah, I'm a media
This is
man.
our space. You're a media man.
Yeah.
What are there any chance for the 10th Assembly to?
Well, for me,
your position.
For me, this is the 10th Assembly. So motions that were moved at the 8th and 9th Assembly were not carryovers to the 10th Assembly. So I might not be able to understand, to know, and and to be able to comment on the activities of the 8th and 9th Assembly based on whether they try to make some moves about media, but there had never been a time that the National Assembly wants to censor the media. There had never been a time. Enshrined in the Constitution is for the fundamental human rights of free speech and then movement to wherever within Nigeria legally and transact your businesses constitutionally, legally within the framework of the law of the land. So, and the 10th Assembly does not have it in its timetable, in its own purview, in its own thinking and thoughts that there can be a time that there's going to be media censorship. There can never be, and there's nothing like that before us. And the only thing we always say is that we should exercise our freedom legally and cautiously, and because the right of the other person starts from where your own right stops. It doesn't mean that because I have a fundamental human right of speech, then I can call you a bastard. So does that mean? Is that it? So that is irresponsible rights. So definitely, what is open to you is to maybe take an action in the law court, so which we are calling that person to take. So definitely, we have laws guiding everything in Nigeria, even cyber,
Exactly.
even the traditional media thing, the online thing. We have laws. So definitely, if anybody contravenes any of the laws, the law will take its course. So that is what we believe in. That's what we believe in. So there's not going to be a time whereby we just sit down within the adult chambers and now just say that, oh, media, you cannot say yes, you cannot say no. No. Because we regard the media as the fortress of the estate. So, and we believe that after the legislation, the judiciary, the executive, the media comes to it. Because the media is the bridge between us and the general public. It's through the media that we can get the feedback. It's through the media, even the public can get their own feedback. The only thing we are only trying to say is that when we are doing our media, it should be very responsible media that is nationalistic. A media that we just go out there to educate Nigerians on even activities of government itself. Yes, we know that bad news is always good news at times. So if a dog, if a man eats dog, it's not any news. But when a dog swallows a man, it becomes news. So we know that one. So, but besides that, we have to lace it with patriotism. Like the just concluded election in Ghana. Up to yesterday, they were still even recounting. The Nigerian media is no more reporting that one. So immediately after the election, that the challenger now considered. So the media was putting it, oh, this is the best way Nigeria should go and copy. The media is not telling us that when people are becoming restive in Ghana during the election, while the election was going on, while coalition was still on, that they have not concluded the coalition, and then Adaramodu and the current vice president noticed that his supporters could go to the street and become so unruly. That was why patriotism ruled him, and that was why he immediately went to concede, and that was the end. His supporters became very calm. I was watching it live. Some of the supporters were crying because they wanted to take to the streets. By the time he agreed, so everything just went calm. But in Nigeria, our media will just be encouraging, oh, they have cheated you, oh, they have carried the ballot box to somewhere, even what they have not seen. And then the challenger, even somebody who is winning no award in Nigeria, who is winning no constituency in Nigeria, we say that he would have won the election. And so here we are. That is why we are having very, very contentious elections in Nigeria. It's not because of the activities of either INEC or whatever. There might be glitches, which can be in any human endeavor. Up to yesterday, they were still doing the counting. Even there was one constituency for that matter, whereby they couldn't do the counting. They carried all the ballot boxes and everything to police to a group of schools in Ghana in the constituency, and then the place was set up on fire, and there was problem. So up to yesterday, they were even blaming themselves. So nobody is reporting that anymore. No media is talking about that one anymore in Nigeria. It is, we have all just gone away with, oh look, INEC, can you see what Ghana has done? Hey, Nigerian politicians, can you see what Ghana has done? Whereas the challenger in Ghana, every politician knows when he loses an election, but they will never own up that they have lost an election. Even when you lose and you know that your opponent, his own votes are doubled of your own, you will still go to court, you will still go to tribunal, you will still be trying, you will still say you are trying your luck, and it's the same set of people will now come back and blame it judicially.
But you don't blame the people, and because we've seen an election where the 4 people contested, they didn't give the first, second, they gave it to the fourth, and so yes, there are the legal intricacies of it.
If there are structural problems, because you know it is like in the when you are on the field of football, you score 2-3 goals with your hands, and you want the referee to count them for you, and so when somebody who scored only 1 goal with his own leg, because we call it football, it is not handball, so only that person that scored with it's only 1 goal with his own foot, they now count it for him. But you that scored your own 3 goals with your hands, they scored all your 3 goals, you are now saying that they have denied you of 3 goals that is supposed to be 3-1. How? So that is, we Nigerian politicians, one, we must not be desperate. 2, we even forget about God factor in everything that we do. Once we have money, we have influence, they think there's nothing, there's no position. So when you now go into any election and you lose out, you don't believe that you have lost. 3, supporters. We allow them to rule us because supporters know that yes, when you are there, even as a governor or whoever, you are going to make us commissioner, you are going to make us special advisor. They will not allow you to accept the result of the election. 4, an example was when President Jonathan, during his election against former President Buhari. So there were some of his supporters who went to the coalition center, who decided to sit down on the floor and said that we are not leaving this place today, because they knew that when this president goes away, we are finished. We are not going to be ministers again. We are not going to be special advisors again. So with the contestants, with the politicians, we must not allow all these kind of our supporters to be ruling us. That is, then patriotism. We must know that there is always another time. There is always another time. Somebody, look, you contest against somebody. That person will be saying that, yes, let him win now. I'll go to the court and take it from him. Haba. And then when they now get to court, and then the court says, no, you have not won this election now, they will now be saying that, it is the judiciary.
And so before we let you go, I have 2 questions for you. The first one is about the second committee with youth and sport development, which is extremely important. Over 65% of the population and the voters are young.
Yes, are young.
You are still young at heart sometimes.
Yes,
you've got to that
and in action.
And very active. But
Yeah.
the president changed the Minister of Youth, which a lot of people found that to be impressive because this is a constituency that you must cater to and get them to work. And then also sports, separating sports on its own. Yes, because every athletic event or whatever, there's one complaint or whatever. So it's good that this has been separated. But what's the vision for the Nigerian youth, especially in the legislature?
Yes, yes. That's very good. That's a very good, not only observational question, but it's a very good maybe direct trying to inquire about what the National Assembly especially is doing in order to enhance youth development. Yes, like we know, which we all agree that not less than 60% of the population of Nigeria is youth. Yes, know that the youth is the present and the future of a nation. Because I don't believe in that kind of either it is a popular saying or whatever. Youth is the leader of tomorrow. No. I always ask, when is that tomorrow starting? Tomorrow starts from now. Like I said, I think I became local government chairman at barely 29 years of age. So definitely, I don't think there's any young man or young woman in Nigeria today around 22, 25 that cannot hold an office. I don't believe that we can just say that it shouldn't be possible. It should be. There are three things. Number one, our Nigerian youth too, they have some roles to play in their own development too. They have to be very interested in what goes around them. I always ask questions whenever because I always move around them. If I go, by now, if I get to my hometown now in Lawe, in Ekiti, you won't, at a point in time, you cannot find less than 100, 200 of them around me at home. They will still sleep in my house. Guys will always come because I started very early and I've never left that sector. So let me tell you something. Now, in politics, even when you mention voters, yes, they have voters. Why we have many of the problems that we are having, even in our elections and even the choice of leadership, it's because the apathy that Nigerian youths are showing to choosing leaders. Now, I want to give you an example. We have two contestants to a position. One contestant is good, one contestant is bad. So to say, just for an illustration, 100 people, especially youth, are behind one contestant that is good. We want him to win. We want him to become the leader. Only 30 of the youth are behind, or 30 old men and women are behind the other contestant that is not good, that is not supposed to be the leader. But on election day, everybody, all the 100 young men and women who think this is the best person, they now assume that he's popular. He has the people who will go there and vote. None of them comes out to vote. Maybe only 20 of them will come out to vote for that good man. But the bad man, bad people, they always come together very easily because they have a creed. They know they are unpopular, so they will be bonded.
Sometimes they use of force.
No.
Yes.
If you are talking of force, it's only the young people that have that capacity and energy to even force any kind of anything down the throat of anybody. Can you see a 60, 70, 80-year-old person using force? Is it possible? It is the 25, 20, 26, 30 people, the old men and women that can do that. Now you now get to the polling unit. So all the 30 bad people behind the bad man, they all come out to vote. And they vote for him. And he has his called 30. Only 20. The 20 of the good men and women now come out to vote for the good man. And then the election now, the result is 30-20. The rest, 80 that refuse to come out will now be, they will go to social media. Oh, the election is rigged. How could that bad man win? It is not possible. It is rigged. And they carry ballot box. Hey, they carry this thing. And they change the form EC80. They did this. Oh, we didn't see it on IRF. Oh, the thing was manipulated. Look, if you want to be part of the system, you have to participate. And when you want to participate, you don't participate theoretically. You participate practically. When I said I became chairman of local government at 39, I did not sit down in the comfort of the rooms of my father and mother, and he just came and gave it to me. I went out. By that time, I didn't have a bicycle. My first time of wearing agbada was when I became chairman of local government. I never had any native dress. I didn't have more than 2 pairs of shoes. And I was among the young ones in my hometown. I was running around them. We were moving around together. The elderly ones were looking at us as if we were playing, as if we were joking. It was the zero party thing. But by the time they saw the tumultuous crowd, that these young people are determined, I became. That's how it is done. So there's no way you just sit down on the table and you want somebody to come and serve you. That is one thing. Then secondly, for us in the National Assembly, that we do is that Nigerian young men and women, they came together. Few years back, they said they want a bill not too young to run to be passed. They lowered the age limit for every position, even to 21 years of age. Councillor, chairman, House of Assembly, or up to the presidency, to the extent that presidency becomes 35 years, to the extent that senator becomes 30, or even 25 for reps. Now, those guys that were pushing the bill then, where are they when it became law?
No, to be honest, because I was part of that.
Now they will now say, yes, we have the numbers.
We do have
the numbers that we have now is due to prompting. Prompting. Because they will now say, oh, when they want to collect forms, senator, it is 20 million. This thing, especially in APC, PDP, it is so million. Now, in our own party like APC, forms are free for young ones and for women. They don't pay for forms.
But we'll deal with the primaries.
Which primaries? Which primaries?
Within the party.
The party primaries nowadays, especially in APC, is general primary. Whereby you can, it's not delegate system, whereby you can say you have 10, 30 people to go and maybe to go and seize them and go and camp them somewhere. Can you camp 1,000 people in a ward? When, like me, I have 64 wards to contend with. And then every ward, there's no ward that is less than about 2,000 members of my party. So will I camp 2,000? It's about your deed, it's about your personality, it's about your legwork, it's about who you are, where you are coming from. It's not for you to say that you are from Ilawe Ekiti, you stay in Abuja, you stay in Lagos, you stay on social media, you are criticizing, you are abusing those people in government, and you now want them in Ilawe to come and pick you as their representative. You have to come home. You have to show that yes, you belong to them. You have to show yes that if we send you to Abuja, you will not forget us. You have to show them. And how do you show them? You mingle with them, you speak their language, you eat their food. You dress like them.
And dance in most cases.
Yes, you dance in most cases. Because those are the nuances of the locals. You have to understand them. Every politics is local. Every politics is local. In America, even the most advanced democracy, it is local. Trump will speak their language. He will speak the American language. The yo man, how now, yes, you are bad man. He will speak it. And they will clap for him. And they voted for him. So there's no way you will say, oh, I'm from Ilawe. And so you are speaking grammar in Abuja. You are on social media. When they want to call somebody from Ilawe in Abuja, you go and show up. And you say you are representing Ilawe. That Ilawe is down there. You don't even know how to locate it on the map. So when somebody becomes either local government chairman in Ilawe, you start criticizing. That is not how to do it. So that is what we are trying to tell our Nigerian youth. Participate, be part of it. If you are not part of it, you will extend the span of the old men and women that are there. Because nation abhors vacuum. Somebody must be a councillor. Somebody must be a local government chairman. Someone must be a commissioner. Someone must be a governor. Someone must be a senator. So they cannot be waiting for you. They will not just look at the register and say that, oh, we are still missing somebody who is living in Lagos, who is criticizing Lagos. Come home. Now that is about that. Then what are our efforts?
Yes.
Our efforts, starting from NYC, we have already done with a bill that is going to establish the NYC Trust Fund. Both chambers have already done with it, and then it's been awaiting assent of Mr. President. That is whereby we are putting up a trust fund, which is going to be a first line charge from the federal government, and then it means that the development of camps then will be the business of that trust fund, then training of the core members that are going to make them useful. So when you do agric and you are a graduate of agriculture, either agric science or agric economics or engineering, so when you get out, that skill will now look at you, what can you do for yourself and for your country and for your environment. Graduate so that you don't just graduate into oblivion, start trekking the streets looking for jobs that are not there. Now then that trust fund will advance you with funds to go and set up, whereby you become an employer of labor instead of you to be looking for where you are going to be a laborer. So that is what that a bill that we have done now that is awaiting assent. That is what is supposed to kill. Then, due to the consciousness of the government about the demography of Nigerian youth and the restiveness of the Nigerian youth, that youth trust fund is already emplaced, and I'm very sure by January, February, the trust fund will be open for the young youth to access.
Senator, because
besides
yes,
the conference that Mr. President has called for, which is going to start early next year, whereby the young youth will come to it, because that had always been the bone of contention. Anytime maybe it's NSAS, it's October 1 this thing, it's end bad this, end bad that. So let us see, let us come together now. Tell us how you want us to deal with you, how you want to deal with us, what do you want, so that the one that can go into legislation will go into legislation, the one that will go into appropriation will go into appropriation, the one that will be for long term will be for long term, so that we'll be on the same page. Then whoever now reaches, either the youth from the youth side or from government side or from the legislature side, we will now know, all Nigerians will now know. So that is where we are.
okay. And all law enforcement, finally, because of your time and our time as well, speak to Nigerians. It's 2025 in a couple of days. What's your message to Nigerians?
Oh, well, my message to Nigerians is that yes, you have always been patient. Nigerians have always been patient, and Nigerians are quite very patriotic. And then, even despite the hardship, we are still trudging on. And I just want to, I'm not asking for patience this time, I'm asking for understanding. And the understanding that I'm asking for is that, yes, the government of Nigeria, supported by the National Assembly, will make sure that the gains of the reforms will never be lost to maybe a few individuals that either we call them political cabal or economic cabal. That those days whereby a clique of people will just corner the commonwealth of the people, that days will never come back to Nigeria anymore. And that the fuel subsidy matter, exchange rate matter, GDP matter, foreign reserve matter, which you know is now moving up, that we will never allow this to be reversed. Again, we will never allow that the sordid past, whereby we just stay in one corner, be cutting naira, new naira notes, so that money will be on the street at the expense of economic sanity. It will not come back again. And again, we want to make sure that we are just employing Nigerians, especially on the part of the National Assembly, that this state National Assembly, that we are going to make sure that the 2025 budget are going to put the faith of the government on fire on it, that every bit of it that is going to be legislated on, that will be passed into law, must be fulfilled to the letters. And that is why we have elongated the lifespan of the capital project component of 2024 budget by 6 months. Not the current. The current is has gone with 2024. That is salaries and the personal emoluments. So not the current, but the capital component, so that we don't have abandoned projects, so that we don't come back and be doing supplementary budget again. Because 2023 budget, which was not done by this current government, we have to review, we have to do supplementary. And then when 2024 budget came, based on the experience and the woes that came that bedeviled the 2024 budget as a kind of maybe the interaction between the two budgets, we have to do another supplementary budget, now consolidating them towards the end of the year. So we will not allow that one to happen again. That's why we have said the capital component should extend to 6 months. So the January to December budget cycle still remains, because we must know, Nigerians must know, that within the practice and the theory of budgeting, there is always a window of a quarter of a year whereby a previous budget can run while the current budget is being worked on and put in place. That is the only thing that can happen. So the January to December budget cycle still subsists in Nigeria. So once again, I want to say very Merry Christmas to Nigerians and to my constituents, especially from the South Central District of Ekiti State, the land of honor and fountain of knowledge, and to the Nigerian teeming youth, that yes, you have today, not only tomorrow. Today and tomorrow belong to you. You should seize it. Even the Holy Book said, "Heaven helps those people that help themselves." And how do you help yourself? Is that make yourself available. That is what they call miracle. When there is opportunity and then you are available with that opportunity, then a miracle occurs. So don't let us sit back and just criticize alone, and then don't fling ourselves into it. Fling yourselves into it, then hold your representatives accountable. Ask questions from them. Don't stay away and just criticize them online. Hold them together, come together, call them, tell them that you want to see them, ask questions from them. What have you been doing? What have you done? What do you want to do for us? Then Nigerians and the media, again, 2025 budget, once it is passed, hold the budget and then use it to monitor through. So do oversight over all of us too. So don't leave the oversight to government people alone. So do oversight so that you can be able to ask questions. Instead of you just pigeonholing the National Assembly that has the same component of the budget that the judiciary has. National Assembly that houses not less than 20,000 Nigerians who are working there, not only legislators, with just less than 1% of the Nigerian budget. So instead of holding them by the jugular alone, asking them, then you can ask us. It is fair for you to ask us, and we'll be telling you the truth always. So to Nigerians, I wish us a very happy new year in advance.
Thank you so much, Senator, for this, and we will be following up with you in the next year for updates on the 10th Assembly, even though we hear you have been promoted to the 11th Assembly. But have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and keep fighting for the young people. It's extremely important. And on our show, one of the things we always say is we pay, as Nigerians, too much attention to the federal government. Hold your state governments accountable.
Even your local government, hold them accountable. Your councillor, hold them accountable. Local government chairman, hold him accountable. Your commissioner, hold him accountable. Everyone should be accountable, because we are sent to you. We are sent to Nigerians, and we must deliver to them. And what do we deliver to them? Good governance, good leadership, accessibility. We must be make us accessible. Everybody wants to evade. Don't let your leaders evade. Don't let your representatives evade. Call them to order. Tell them you want to see them. If they are not seeing you immediately, go to your obas, go to your emirs, go to your peace, go and report that you want to see your representative is or she is not making himself or herself available. They will make themselves available. Then ask questions from them. Ask questions. And for me, as the spokesperson, so if there's anyone that you want to access, you feel that you want to access, get across to me. I'll make sure that I pave the way for you to access that person. So that's it.
That's all. Thank you very much. That's much we can take to have a Merry Christmas and see you as the show goes on. Thank you very much.